So on the bench, we've got a Peugeot 1.4 8-valve cylinder head. It's coming for a refresh. The head gasket was blown. I can see some evidence of washing out on this cylinder and a little bit of blow by over here. So we'll be able to see that when we come to skim it. But for now, we just want to get it stripped down and cleaned a bit. Somebody's had some sort of sandpaper on this. Quite heavily as well in some areas. Naughty, naughty. It doesn't do them any good at all. So stick a little wooden block under there, stop it falling over. I'll see if we can get these gaskets off. All covered in gasket seal, which is not very good for gasket. They're exhaust gaskets. So they're well stuck down. Okay. Right, that took a bit of doing. On that side, no sealant on the top. Right, take the camshaft out. Oh, and that was going to come out of there. very clean on the inlet side. And not too bad on the exhaust. Well, we'll give it a bit of a clean up. I'm going to stick this and give it a bit of a wash now. And then I'll come back to you. I'm just going to do a quick vacuum test on this before I pull it apart, just to see where we are. This head is going on a rally car, which is why we're going over it. So we'll just have a look. It doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. Right, well, they are outstanding. So just to keep everything in order, I've got the inlet facing me as I take these out. And the valve gauge wear is good. On that one at least. Oh, hello. We have geese. I don't know what you want from me, mister. And the blackbird chicks have hatched. Heard them this morning. I might get you a picture after. That exhaust valve has mushroomed on its stem, and that one did as well. Okay. Okay, we'll have to let him know and we'll stop there. Pin from inlet side that way, taking the pin out. Looks like there was another one there which isn't with us. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to have to do is grind the top of this valve or cut it off so that it will go through. It's mushroomed on the very tip. The tip's expanded, the end of the valve, so it won't go down through the guide. So we're going to have to sand that off a bit and get it out of there, but I don't want to reuse it. So we're going to have to get in touch with the owner of this head and let him know. So look at the rest of the valves while we're at it. And these valves are worn. Yeah, these are worn. Okay. That one's been open. Somebody didn't do the valve clearances. Okay, I think the rest of the guide's alright. Guide's pretty good. Nice and tight. Yeah, it's fine. Happy with that. Okay. So we're going to leave that one there for the time being, and we'll be back with this one shortly. I thought I might quickly show this, if I can show it. See if this picks it up. I'm measuring the very top of the valve here, and try and get nice and comfortable. Right, you can see it's basically lining up on the zero there, and when we come down to an unworn part of the valve, it's near enough on the 45. I don't know how much of this you can see. Let's have a look. Let me get my phone out. I'll take some pictures. So down at the bottom we're on 4.6, and at the top we're on, we're on 0. So we're 0.04 of a millimetre bigger on the top. That's how much it's mushroomed. So we've got phone screens are so touchy. Oh, come on, phone. That's why I stopped using the phone for videoing. They're great, but they're not always great. And at the top, we are there, 4.9. So we're going between 4.5 and 4.9. So we're 0.04 of a millimetre. What's that? 2 thou? Is it 2 thou? I don't know. I'd have to check. Try in the middle. Yeah. Between the bottom and the middle is the same, but the top with 0.04 bigger. And that's not the worst one, this is the worst one. So let's call it 0.05. Let's ask Alexa, what's 0.05 of a millimetre in imperial?
500 millimeters is 0.5 meters.
5 thou? No. Alexa, what's 0.05 of a millimetre in thou?
Sorry, I don't know that.
No, I don't think you would. Dear me. I'm not going to rest till I know, am I? I think it's about 2 thou off the top of my head. Bit of a balancing act, this. It's 2 thou. Whatever, it's too big. Right, that'll do for now. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so the owners managed to find another set of valves, used valves. So he's going to bring those over later and we're going to have a look at them. So just to recap, there's some damage to the end of some of the valves, not all of them, mostly the exhausts. 2 of the exhaust valves, one was very stiff to get out, the other one I can't get out because the end has mushroomed. the faces of the inlet valves has mushroomed. And the spark plug, one of the spark plugs has burnt away. These are all indications that it's been running very hot. There's no pinking, there's no detonation marks, so I think we can safely assume it's been running a bit hot. And when it runs hot, there is a possibility that the valves can lose their temper, so we go to jump them. It's not worth the risk of keeping them. So I'm just reducing the diameter of the top of this valve. So that I can push it through. I'm just using one of these things. Very small. Right, let's see if that's done it. There we go, that fell out then. But I mean, I wouldn't reuse that because I don't really know what I've done to this area for the seats, and you wouldn't want to reuse it anyway. We just don't know what condition it's in. So that's all the valves out. Now I'm going to remove the spark plugs. Them undone. Just pull them out. We determined that a second spark plug, you can't see it very well, but you can certainly feel it where it started to etch away. So that one was on its way out. That one virtually doesn't have a gap. That one looks quite good, and that's the one that's been eaten away. I mean, there's not a lot left of it. But he was running it. Anyway, I think the chap that owns this head has had a bit of a surprise. I called him in last night to go over it with him. Yeah, a bit of a surprise. So I'm going to take this back to the cleaner. We're going to finish cleaning it. And actually, first of all, we're going to put the valve stem seals. Because we're putting new ones in. I suspect this has been redone. Not 200 miles ago. It's like these valve stem seals, they're still very compliant. I mean, they're like new. They're not indicative of the age of this cylinder head. And somebody sanded it with paper on a block, I'm not sure, but they've certainly sanded it rather than machined it. I don't think it's ever been machined. Like somebody, yeah, least said about that the better. back off to the cleanup, and I shall be back shortly.
Remains the greatest single event in human history. So it's hardly surprising, first, that the British people continue to take pride in the fact that our ancestors were on the winning side, and on the whole. And secondly, that it was probably the last time that Britain played a really important role on the world stage. So
Alexa, off. So I'm just fitting new valve stem seals to this head. I've just refaced all the valves and the valve seats. Which I shall probably put a couple of pictures in. Okay, that's all I've done. Now we've got valves in. Final time. I probably should mention, I think there's two in there. And then there's a clip in the video for those who might be interested. And then there's a video. I think it's rather sweet, really, that they've chosen to come and live in my workshop. And for the male, I think it's quite cheeky. The female will sit around and watch me. She'll sit in a foot or two away from me. But the male doesn't. He's a little bit more cautious. And he keeps leaving the nest out the window. And he flies across my back. He keeps hitting my back and leaning over the bench here. And so it's quite funny, really. But anyway, those are in. Now we'll assemble all the springs and such. Not forgetting the little washers to go with them. Sneaky. Two together there. I haven't got two together, I'm not sure. Of course, people use the washers and they take them apart and don't realise those washers are there and then take it away and get washers and whatever and basically clean it. My heads. Right, I've got myself another camera and I'm just trying it out for the first time. This one's got a nice zoom on it. I was using let's show you, this Action Pro, sorry, Insta360 Ace Pro. Let's get it some light. Oops. There we are. It's in a cage, and I was putting a diopter lens on it because action cameras, GoPros are the same. If you watch anybody's videos with a GoPro and they use it in a workshop environment like this, they're normally out of focus. they're nearly always out of focus because the focus is set for a much further distance than what we're using here. So one way around that is to use a diopter lens to move the focus nearer to the camera, or the focusing point nearer to the camera, and that works reasonably well. It's fine, it works okay. You just have to remember to put it on. So I've gone and bought a camcorder. I'll see how it goes and I'll let you know what it is. At the moment we're just putting the collets on all the valves. These are, I've done 2. These are proving to be tough little springs. Much harder to do these than the 16 valve. 16 valve takes seconds. This is actually taking a bit of effort. As you can see. Be nice to get a hydraulic set up. When funds allow, maybe. I'd want to be a bit busier first before spending that sort of money. There we are. Alright. That's all the valves in. Just throw the tooling away. Right. There we are. We're just going to do a quick vacuum check. Just to make sure everything is as good as can be. Just zoom in on that. It doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. So much I can't pull that off. Same again. Excellent. As good as it can possibly be. I'll show you why that is in a sec. Well, you can't get it any better. Same again. So we're getting about 26. Around 26. We'd be happy with 25, 20 even. We're getting 26. Now if I hold my hand over, my thumb over the inlet here, you'll see what the gauge will go up to. So that's the maximum we can get at this altitude. I live up a mountain. so I can get a slightly lower pressure than say if I was at sea level. Well, not very high, but it does make a difference. So when you see somebody else using one of these gauges, you might see a slightly different result. But basically, if you stick your thumb over the end, that's maximum. Stick it on the head. Come on, camera. Come on, camera. Doesn't like it, does it? So there we are. Anyway, you can see it's the same reading. So, oops, wrong switch. So there we are. That head is as good as it can possibly be as far as valve sealing goes, and that is tested with a vacuum tester. The vacuum tester will also show us what leakage we've got. The vacuum tester will also show us what leakage we might have past the valve stem seals, and if there's a crack in the head, into the ports. If either of those two things are failing, then we'll get a poor result. Or of course, it could just be the face of the valves itself, the sealing of the valve itself. So that's all done. So what I'm going to do now is put that on the milling machine, give it a skim, and we're done. Right, so here we are. We've got a different camera. Hopefully we'll have a better focus. Just showing the setup with the 123 block. Showing the setup with the 123 block. So there's the setup with the 123 block, and at the other end I've got two clamps on it. And we'll get going. I think that's on. So move this more central, just because we'll go to 12 inches per minute. There we go. And we'll see what this head looks like. And it's definitely warped. So after our first light pass, we probably took one thou off. We have not cleaned up all in this area here. There's a little patch here and here, little shy there, so it's a bit all over the place. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to move the camera because it's not picking up the light very well. I think it wants to be a bit higher. So we're going to give it, we're going to skim it so that we take off these faces here, so these become flat, so that it raises the compression. It's not a great deal, but it will certainly help. So give it another go. Aggressive on that. So that concludes that head. Lovely and spotless, nice and flat. Doesn't shine as well as some of the other heads. That's just the makeup of the alloy. It's probably got more silicone in it. But it's a good job. And we've raised the compression. We've taken off 24 thou, which is just a touch over 0.5 millimeter. So it should notice that. Should just give them a little bit more zap in the engine. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope the new camera's worked. I won't know until I review the footage, and I'll come back with more details on that another time. So until next time, thank you.